right, so we are super excited to have you here for our Diversity Lightning Talks. I'm Tricia Davis-Muffet. I am Director of Public Sector Marketing here at AWS, and I'm co-hosting today with Dave Levy, who is VP of our Federal Government and Nonprofit Group. You'll see him coming up to introduce some of our speakers. We have a fantastic lineup of people who are true leaders in their field, who are helping to build the next generation of a more diverse tech workforce. And so I'm very excited to have them here. We're going to keep things moving very fast because we know that we're standing between you and the excellent reception that we have planned for you. I just want to take 1 minute to talk a little bit about what we're doing at AWS on the We Power Tech program, which actually launched just this year. So We Power Tech is really about building skills and networks for underrepresented communities across the entire technology landscape. And you know, you're here at reInvent. We are thrilled to have you here. But we know that there are a lot of people who aren't here. So we do ask you if you could share your journey to tech at #WePowerTech to both share your story and also to encourage the next generation of tech. Also, we're all announcements all the time here at AWS. So today, we had a fantastic announcement that really is related to what we're trying to do here, which is build skills and help both those who are coming up in tech as well as those who are changing careers and joining the technology workforce. The AWS Certification and Training Team today launched a free digital training platform where you can build skills and learn more about AWS. They also announced an AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner certification, which is a new entry-level certification that helps those who do have an understanding of AWS Cloud but have not yet reached the next level to show that knowledge and help them get a job in technology. I'm also excited to tell you that everyone who attends this diversity series will be getting a voucher for a free certification exam from AWS Training and Certification. So look out for that in your email. All right, so our first lightning talk, our first speaker today is Laura Gomez. And Laura is CEO and founder of Atypica, a technology and data startup for hiring managers and diversity practitioners. And Laura is a founding member and advisor for Project Include, and she's working to make tech more inclusive. Laura worked at Twitter in its early stages, where she was a founding member of its international team that led Twitter's product expansion into 50 languages and dozens of countries. So we are really looking forward to hearing from Laura today. So please, Laura, come up to the stage.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me as well. So here I am. Thank you, and good afternoon for anyone that's here for the first day. And I think the formatting went a little bit. But today I will be talking about inclusion and machine learning, and I will do a brief case study since we only have about 7 minutes. And I apologize if I speak too fast, so just please approach me at the reception. I'd be more than happy to answer the questions. Besides being a founder and CEO, I've been in tech since I was 17, and I grew up in the heart of Silicon Valley in Redwood City. So I have seen firsthand all of the issues around the meritocracy myth. And I have seen how that has perpetuated inequalities and has seen a tech force that is very homogeneous, as you can see now. Not only that, while working at these big tech companies, I have also experienced the own systemic sexism and racism that is afflicted to our industry today. And hopefully, I think today and 2017 in general is really a turning point on how we can actually make those changes of inclusion together. A lot of the things, I'm going to pause at this. A lot of the things around diversity and inclusion is anecdotal right now. You read the headlines. You take the unconscious bias training. Someone speaks about, hey, this happened, or I went to this event and I hired this type of person, or there's not enough in the pipeline. Everything is very much anecdotal. Also, that being said, a lot of the ML solutions that are being built around those are biased. How so? I was talking to a big tech company that is facing issues around pay and around specifically the gap between different groups. They've decided that they are going to put their own data scientist and people analytics team together to investigate. So when I was speaking to them, I asked them, well, you're already building the biases around a biased training set or your own history around the pay gap. And they didn't think about that. They're like, well, there's not enough solutions. I'm like, there's plenty of founders and startups that I know that are tackling the problem because they come in with a different lens. And so they actually help other companies not be biased. Other things is that a lot of things happen with diversity. So you see a founder that built a startup a couple years ago around machine learning, and now they really care about diversity, so they're going to start looking at it. But inherently, because it's not authentic, because it's not something that comes to them, they don't really see how biased they are. This is where Atypica started about 3 years ago, and it was all about the anecdotes of the pipeline. There's not enough technical talent, there's not enough candidates, et cetera. And I said, well, let's look at the pipeline. Let's look at a data-driven solution that we can really help. So it was very basic, my concept. We took the resume, aggregated a number of resumes from our enterprise clients. We took public data in the United States. We took US Census, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, the Department of Labor. And then we applied machine learning and said, this is how the workforce is supposed to look like. But we didn't actually take the same biases of the industry that we were working in, which is tech. So our training set didn't go and randomize how it was supposed to look like. We actually, in a utopian environment, we made, at least on the gender side, we made our training sets be 50% female, 50% male. So we didn't randomize it to what the biases were of the industry, so we can be much more prone to understand how we can grow and work together. So, and then we applied machine learning. And how do we do that? We actually were the first one to build a talent business intelligence solution, and it was specifically designed to look at a hard, judgment-free, data-driven initiative around diversity and inclusion. And when I approach our clients, today, a couple hours ago, I onboarded a client who is a recruiting platform, ironically, on how to really think about diversity and inclusion as it relates to data and the subjective and objective and all the behavioral data points that they could get. So for us, it was really important that when we show diversity leaders, VPs of talent acquisition, all of these companies combined have over 100 billion market cap, that we weren't biased in our own algorithms. So we think about that every day, and I think that's how you can build inclusion into machine learning. How are your algorithms or your insights going to be affected other people? For us, it's that they have talent. I decided that I had a pretty great idea looking at public government data and aggregate machine learning. So we actually looked, I put a provision of patent on how we can predict from an aggregate point of view how different groups interact in the workforce. For right now, for gender, we have 96% accuracy and about at 87.5% for race. Thank you. I think it's important to think about how one can actually include and build inclusive. Obviously, my product is all about diversity and inclusion, and obviously we think about diversity and inclusion in so many ways, but really we want to have a lifetime value. Like when you start doing predictive modeling, it's not just giving someone a prediction. Really what you want to optimize for is the best outcome for that client, the best outcome for the workforce. So how does the workforce look like in 5 years, in 10 years? It certainly doesn't look like it looked 5 or 10 years ago. So our goal is to really make an inclusive solution both on the workforce and on the employer side, so we can really optimize to make and change this industry, and not just in this industry. I think Hollywood will be next, to make sure that we are able to do that. And so thank you. I'll see you at the reception, and there's my email.
Thank you, Laura. Well, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Dave Levy, and I'm the Vice President for U.S. Government at Amazon Web Services. And so that was incredible. I've been in technology for 30 years, and I always knew it was in the data, but now we've got machine learning and AI to back us up. So, you know, I want to introduce our next speaker. He's someone who's working in Brazil to support women in tech through Cloud Girl Sao Paulo, Danilo Alves Arujo. All right. He's experienced what many do in technology events, large and small, a lack of diversity. In Sao Paulo, he wanted to accelerate the opportunities for women to learn about the cloud, and he's done just that. So look forward to hearing from Danilo.
Hi, my name is Danilo Alves. I'm from Brazil, and I'm here to speak about Cloud Girls São Paulo, a meetup group created 8 months ago and currently with 1,900 members. And the first question that comes is, what is a man doing here? Exactly. That was the question that I heard most at the beginning. Why is a man organizing a group exclusive for girls? And I will try to explain the reason that took me to get involved on it. Everything started at the meetup in São Paulo, Brazil, meetup AWS São Paulo, Brazil, created in 2015 by Francisco Edgerton, currently our community hero. Okay. In 2016, I have joined to the organization team. And since then, we start doing meetups every month for about 100 people. And so everything was fine, except we start doing our meetups. We had a lot of speakers. We were sponsored by many companies. We had a lot of plays, 4,000 members. But something was missing for us. Where were the girls? Exactly. In all the meetups that we did, we never had more than 10% of girls. In our biggest meetup, that we did for 140 people, we had only 8 girls, and it was very frustrating for us. And exactly 8 months ago, while we were organizing AWS Meetup at Google Campus, exactly, trust me, it's true. Speaking with the hoster, Maíra Pereto, we asked her, Maíra, what can we do to attract the women audience? And she explained us that usually in the events with the majority of men, the women usually feel embarrassed, shy, and they even have fear about doing question, guessing that they will be oppressed by the men. And so I asked her again, what can we do? And she explained us that we should create a group exclusive for girls and slowly integrate it to AWS São Paulo. And before we think about it, she scheduled the date of our first event, and then we were pushed to do it happen. And then we create Cloud Girls, a meetup group exclusive for girls that we loved it. But the first point was to create a team, an amazing team that I used to call a dream team, because these are the real responsible by the success of this group. And in our first event at the Google Campus, we had 90 girls. It surprised us a lot. Yeah. It's not all. Wait. And what could be a lucky situation repeated again when we did our second meetup at IBM for 100 125 girls. And at that moment, we were sure that we were doing the right thing. Let me see. Okay. But we started doing the meetups every month. We got sponsored by many companies. We had a huge success. But it was missing for us to understand the reason that led the women to attend only women's meetup, exclusive for girls. Okay? And speaking with a member from our meetups, she explained us about a hypothesis that she read in an article. Suppose that you have two children, a boy and a girl. And suppose that due to your financial situation, you are able to buy only a single computer. Guess who will be the owner of this computer, the boy or the girl? In all the cases that we did this question, the answer was the boy. And even this girl that told me about it, she also told me that it happened on her own home. She bought a computer, and her son appropriated in such way the computer that he created a schedule for, with the time that his sister could use the computer. For example, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it explains a lot of things, because since the early days, the girls do not have equal opportunity of access to the technology. And maybe it explains why the boys are more interested than girls about computers, about games, about cars. And I particularly believe that the girls bring with them this kind of memory of oppression, and that's why they feel uncomfortable in a masculine environment. And so we start doing our meetups every month, but we want to go further. It was missing something for us. And then we create our social project named Cloud Girls Social. And the idea is very simple. Every attendee bring a can with milk and powder to donate to a nursery at São Paulo. And the result is this. We have 710 children benefited by our social action. And we really do this because we believe that better than speak about cloud, it's speak about cloud and save the world. And once again comes the question, what is a man doing here? I really don't know, but it had to be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Danilo. I'm reminded of Teresa Carlson, our VP of Public Sector, always tells everyone, if you see a hole, don't walk around it, fill it. And I feel like that's what Danilo did here. Next I want to share about a technical training program that is working to prepare more people from underrepresented communities to get trained and certified on AWS. So please welcome Drew Ferment, who is the managing partner for A Cloud Guru, and they've been working to train cohorts of women and people from underrepresented communities in cloud skills. There you go.
Thank you very much. So my name is Drew Ferment. I spent 25 years in technology, the past 20 of those years at Capital One, which is pretty much a tech company. I had a midlife crisis, and now I joined a startup. That was a healthy way to do it, A Cloud Guru, which is the leading online training for AWS with over 400,000 customers in over 160 countries, delivering our content via serverless technology. They have a passion for teaching the world to cloud, and I'm proud to be a part of that and be a partner with We Power Tech as well, because we are out to change the world through education. I'm going to walk you through my experience with Capital One and how that relates to how we need to change the industry, because it needs to change. The tech industry, there's an issue right now, and we need to do something about it. And the certifications are a mechanism to do that. I'm going to walk you through how I transformed Capital One. And now my role at A Cloud Guru is to help transform not only enterprises, but our industry. So when I was at Capital One, I was director of engineering for cloud engineering, and I helped to move our first applications into production. Started off with 3, then we moved to 30, then we moved to 300. Now, if you go over to the Capital One booth, it's a lot of cloud being done at Capital One. It's a pretty impressive technology company. But the issue is not the technology, okay? It was talent. And it was the lack of talent that was the impediment for us moving forward. Very similar to what's going on in the industry today, okay? So we're here to do something about it, and the way we're going to do something about it is what we did at Capital One. We did a massive transformation. I ended up being Dean of Cloud Computing. I was so passionate about training people, and I leveraged the certification as a mechanism to make that difference. And we can also do the same thing in the industry. So we can get 10% of committed agents is the inflection point for going ahead and disrupting the status quo. And that status quo needs to be disrupted. So let me walk you through what I mean by that. So at Capital One, the real mission there is not being in the cloud. The real mission at Capital One is to provide customers differentiating products that are worthwhile. The cloud is just a strategic lever. Right, our CIO recognized that, again, it's not the technology, right? It's people, and the hardest part of that is talent transformation. Why is it hard? It's a different mindset in order to get to that next to get into the cloud. It's a new cloud as a culture, AWS as a language. It's a new tribe being formed. So what did I end up doing? I ended up transforming the organization to get to a new state by reaching critical mass. What is critical mass? So at Capital One, we ended up driving a talent transformation program that started off with 0 people certified. Right now, there's well over 1,000 to 1,500 people certified. And we reached this inflection point where we had these committed agents that were able to go ahead and it's a tipping point. There was a societal study that was done in 2011 that showed that when you get 10% of committed agents, a committed minority, they can go ahead and influence the majority, and that belief will go ahead and spread like wildfire through and be adopted. If it's anything less than 10%, nothing happens. It will stay flat. That minority opinion will not be adopted if it's below 10%. So I established a model, and I measured that. I actually have a patent on that. Where I took our architectural KPIs and our costs and our migration, and I correlated it with the training programs that I established. And that's how I came across A Cloud Guru, because all the engineers said, hey, stupid, use A Cloud Guru. So that's what I ended up doing. And over time, when we had pockets of organizations that hit 10%, all of a sudden, there was an inflection point, and our metrics just hockey sticked, okay? This applies to the tech industry. Getting committed agents and getting 10% of our AWS certified individuals to be diverse and inclusive, because right now it is not. Just walk around the hallways, look at those pictures. We have an opportunity to make a difference here. So cloud is a culture, AWS is a language, okay? A new tribe, it is a culture. It's a way of talking. When people talk about should I use EC2 and put Oracle on it and use EBS, or should I use RDS? It's a language. There's a vernacular associated with that. You have to be fluent if you want to be part of that culture, okay? It is really, really critical to understand the language of the cloud. It's a different mindset. So a committed agent means that table stakes is AWS certified. When you get AWS certified, you're an expert on AWS. Dramatic pause. Why are you an expert? Because now you know how much you don't know, okay? It's the starting point. I mean, look at all the announcements that are going on, every single minute here. There is no possible way to be able to absorb that. But if you have the context to learn it, an associate's degree in college, a 2-year degree of liberal arts, that's what that associate's in cloud computing is. It provides you that gateway to get in there and to begin your learning path. It's the entryway into cloud and to be able to establish yourself as an expert, because now you know how much you don't know. You're no longer a hazard to your organization or others. And the second point is extremely important. If I trained somebody and got them certified, and they went back into their cave, I would shame them. I had a cloud of fame where I had everybody that was certified. And then I turned into a cloud of shame, because if somebody came to me and said, I need help, I said, well, here's the cloud of fame of people that are certified. Here are your mentors. It is everybody's responsibility when you get certified +1. Who are you helping to break down that door and get to the next stage here? So being actively engaged in the community is absolutely essential to get to be a committed agent in the cloud. Why the AWS certification? Well, what's in it for me? Okay, it's the most valuable certification in the industry right now. I think the average salary for an associate's level certification is $125,000. It's insane, right? It's people can't find people at this point that can operate in the cloud. People are dying for people to be able to have these types of skills. It's hard. I failed my first time I took the associate level certification, right? I have master's in engineering. I was director of operations. It's hard, and that's why it's valuable, right? You can't fake it. We have really, really good training that helps you prepare for the certification, but you have to know what the services are, and you have to be able to use it and make stuff and try it and not just sort of read a book. You need to be a maker and a doer with this. So this is what means to be an expert. You get AWS certified. We're going to be over at the happy hour, by the way. We have some free memberships to hand out as well. So I invite you all to take advantage of that and give it a try. How did the journey end with Capital One, right? So, I'm up here talking about, my patent, and this is what I did. Well, right now in US, 2% of everybody that's certified, AWS developers that are certified, works at Capital One, okay? They've reached a sustainable transition to a new operating model because they've hit that critical mass. And that's what's possible in the industry, right? We have an opportunity to do that because right now, everybody is spelling AWS WTF, right? We're in an echo chamber here within re:Event where we're just, we're all talking cloud. Very, very few people, I would say 90% of the industry is still very, very late stage, okay? So there's lots of jobs out there, lots of jobs. It's the #1 challenge right now for most industries to get to this transition. A lot of them were much late adopters than Capital One. They're kind of in the OF stage right now. I better go hire some people. They're not out there. Okay, there's a ton of job vacancies, which creates the #1 opportunity for diversity and inclusion, right? Level the play. Right now, everybody is starting from the beginning. Well, why not get certified and go ahead and take that 10%, be part of that 10%, be part of the committed agent, right? And go ahead and start to influence the majority. And the next thing you know, when I show up to the certification lounge, or when I show up to a hackathon where there's 100 engineers in the room and they all look like me, that's a problem because it's not me power tech, it's we power tech. So we got to get to critical mass to be a sustainable transition to a different model. And what that requires is committed agents, and everybody in this room has an opportunity to be a committed agent, to get certified, to go ahead and get somebody else certified, and help change the industry one certification at a time. So again, A Cloud Guru is a proud sponsor of We Power Tech. We have the happy hour. We have some of our instructors there. Love to talk with you about what we do and to help you on your journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Drew. I don't want to be on his, is it wall or hall of shame? So I'll do my best to stay off of that list. I'm really thrilled and proud to introduce our next group and our AWS's association with them. Digital Divide Data has partnered with AWS public sector team to provide cloud training for students from the most underdeserved communities in Kenya. Today, we're going to hear from Maureen and Damaris. They're two students who were trained by Digital Divide Data and have been certified by AWS. So they're on the Wall of Fame. And so Frank Heitman, the president of DDD, is going to come up and introduce Maureen and Damaris after a brief video.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everybody. So
The National Museum of Kenya is a
wait. I get it. So what do I need to do now? Push. No, don't play it. Okay, good. Yeah, we do this all live, you know, this is real. Good evening again, everybody. I'm very pleased now to bring you some lightnings from Nairobi in Kenya. But instead of having slides, as you could see, we have a little video for you, which I want to play now. Let's see if I get it right now.
The National Museum of Kenya is a custodian of Kenya's natural and cultural heritage. Kenya has been christened the cradle of mankind because of our extremely rich fossil record. It's unparalleled anywhere in the world.
DDD is a 15-year-old social enterprise providing IT services to companies across the world. As a social institution, we are providing employment and education to disadvantaged youth.
Technology is fit for any person. We are all capable.
My passion is writing code and database administration.
My desire is to see our knowledge, our understanding about human ancestry, reach out to as many people as possible.
Through our engagements with Amazon and Intel, we had the idea to use the Amazon cloud to digitize their artifacts. So we created the AWS Academy for Kenya.
Our students digitize this content, provide web development, content management. Knowing this technology is going to elevate their career.
This is a dream come true. Conservation in the virtual museum created with the hands of Kenyans themselves.
The social impact of our work is not only helping one individual,
It's adding value to not only the nation, but to the rest of Africa and also the world.
So that is our little... Thank you. That's not all, we have more. So that's our little intro to this section. As you could see in the video, we took up a wild project beginning this year, starting to teach young students in Kenya AWS skill sets, and not only just teaching them, but really bring them to a level where they have certifications on that. And as we are a social enterprise, we focus in particularly on gender equality. So we wanted to make sure that the young girls in that society also have the chance to participate on this, crazy booming market and take their benefits out of that technology. So on today we have, as you could see, Maureen in the video, two ladies with us who passed their exams just a couple of months ago. Yeah, which was really a tremendous achievement. And what we want to do the next 2-3 minutes is to run a quick panel, and they will give you their impressions directly. So let me start with Damaris. I know you told me that you actually have not really had a lot of technology experience before you started to get into the academy, right? So, does this work?
Yeah.
So what was the most challenging moment or the most challenging thing for you to get through the academy and get to your certification?
Okay, thank you, Frank. My journey through the training, it was not as easy. First of all, as Frank has said, I didn't have basic IT knowledge, and so we had to go through basic IT knowledge, and I really had to struggle so that I can catch up with the rest, because in the class we had some few guys who had graduated and some were already in school. So I really hate to come to work very early and leave very late so that I can create enough time so that I can be at par with the rest. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of determination in the program, but I have to say the girls probably were the ones who were most determined. Let's go to Maureen. I think I can say that here. You were one of the ones who had actually the best grades, right? If not, you were the best one. And by the way, they outperformed the boys. So that was an enormous achievement. And like Damaris said, it took a lot of efforts. Can you give the audience a feeling on, how did a typical day look like for you when you were going through the academy?
Well, thank you, Frank. For me, a typical day starts at 5:30 in the morning, so I have to prepare an hour earlier so that I could catch a bus, because from where I stay and the training class is 1 hour away, so I have to be up and catch a bus earlier. So getting to the training class, I have to go and review what we did the previous day, because on a daily basis you are given some practicals to do, so that the trainer will come and look into it and see how far you're getting into. After that, I go through another task of doing the practical in knowing what AWS technologies has to offer, which initially we didn't have the background in it. By 4 p.m., when I'm done with the training class, I have to go back to my books, because I still have to study for my university course, that is information technology, so for 2 hours. So by 6:30, roughly 6:30, I have to go back to catch another bus back home, and the cycle begins.
They had easily 18-hour days, during that time. I think that's fair to say, right? So, Damaris, being a woman in tech is already challenging, and I think being a woman in tech in Kenya is even more challenging. And to that point, I would like to ask, what did you take out of the program beside the technology skills, but what did you as a young woman take out of the program?
Okay, can you come up again?
What did you take out of the program as a young woman? Did it give you self-confidence? How do you?
Yeah, okay. Surprisingly, in our class were only 6 ladies out of 30 trainees. So in the beginning, I really struggled because I wanted my voice to be heard. I wanted to get that attention. So I really struggled to give out contributions and ask questions during the sessions. So it was really a struggle, but right now I can say what I got to understand at the end of the training is that we young women, it is just let me say, we are not informed, and it's a perception. It is true, technology is fit for everyone, and I wish if I was informed when I was earlier, I could have started being interested in technology, and it wouldn't be hard on me at that time of the training. So one thing I would want to say that is to create awareness to the young girls and encourage them to engage, to embrace technology. Yep.
Yeah, one thing I can add is we are now serving real clients and customers. And Damaris, you are heading up one of the largest projects. I think 9 or 10 of the students now are under your leadership, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. After finishing the certification, right now we are dealing with real-time projects, and our clients are sourced globally. So I'm a project lead, and right now I'm leading, as Frank has said, I'm leading a team of 9, and I'm privileged also to learn management skills, and also daily I do write daily reports, weekly reports, and at the end of the month, I also do write monthly reports. So this has given me a great experience. Yeah.
Wonderful. So last question for Maureen. So now you have all these fantastic certificates, and you know the world is open for you. So twofold question. One is, you know, where do you see yourself? What do you see, you know, in your near-term future? That's the one thing. And then you should have the chance to direct to this community here, you know, what do you think the tech community in its total can do to help young women like you more, you know, to get, you know, through those kind of certification and get forward in tech?
Well, from an early age, for me, I used to get attracted to these glowing boxes. I didn't know what that is because I could walk to neighboring schools and see these glowing boxes. I didn't know that was a computer. And when you walk into that lab, you look at that person and you find that that is a man. You couldn't find a woman. So I went with that perception that that is a man thing. So when I grew up with that idea. So when I got the chance to get involved with AWS, and when at that same time, I had started my information technology course, and I had that feeling, a desire that's the place I want to be. And it has exposed me to exercise my skills in different areas, in web development, app development, and I would ask every person, if you have a desire as a young woman, wherever you are, have that passion, continue with it, look around with women in technology groups, channels, get engaged, even motivators. There are so many of them out there. We just have that ground. And for the employers, I will tell them that hire more of these women. Hire them. Give them lead roles in the technical areas, department. We have so much to offer. Women can be activated so much in areas that men are dominated. Yes.
That was a very clear request. So I'm afraid we are at the end of our 7 minutes. I'm sorry about that, but the two ladies will be around for the happy hour. Let me conclude very briefly to say to you both, I think tech can make difference. I think tech can make difference in lives, and I personally believe you are the first two young ladies who have a certification in Kenya, and I think you will be among the first two ladies who, you know, will lead this country forward in technology leadership, you know, and I'm looking very much forward to see you to get there, and then you are going to encourage other women in Kenya as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Frank and Maureen and Damaris. That was fantastic. I love that project and that story. Thank you guys for the work you're doing. All right, our final speaker is Plinio Ayala, President and CEO of Perscalis. And Perscalis is a U.S. nonprofit that offers tuition-free training for unemployed and underemployed adults for careers as IT professionals. Their training is very rigorous, and they've received honors from the Obama administration as a model to train adults in technology. Mr. Ayala has served in this position for 15 years, where he's responsible for the organization's overall strategic direction and sustainability. So please welcome Plinio.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Tricia, and thank you all for allowing me to be part of this amazing conference. Indeed, yes, I am Plinio Ayala, and that's the wrong slide. Let's see, which way do I need to go? There we go. Okay. I have been with the organization for 15 years, and we are a national IT workforce development organization. And I am incredibly fortunate that every day I get to meet amazing individuals, people with high levels of motivation, super, super smart individuals from communities that are often overlooked. Communities like the South Bronx, South Dallas, West Atlanta. And if you ask those individuals, each one of them would tell you that the zip code from where they come from should not dictate their future. And at Proscolis, we agree with them. I think talent is quite ubiquitous. And if you provide the right level of training and the right level of support, you can produce amazing IT workers. This organization has been evaluated several times. Each evaluation coming back indicating that the impact that we are having in the communities that we are in is significant. The numbers behind me sort of bear that to be true. We graduate individuals at very, very high rates, and we place them in jobs at high rates at starting wages that allow our graduates to believe that the American dream is not dead. And by virtue of the communities that we recruit from, over 90% of our folks are diverse. But some would argue that our primary customer is the student that sits in our seat. I would argue that our primary customer is the employer community. And we spend hundreds of hours every year talking to employers across all of our cities to understand what IT is trending. And then we work with those employers to construct programs that allow us to train people for skills that are relevant for jobs that exist now. Let me introduce you to one of our employer partners, Design Data. Design Data has offices across the country, but we work with their office in DC. The gentleman in the slide, his name is Wayne Tolles, and he is one of their senior program managers at the firm. Design Data is an IT service provider, and Wayne is responsible for the desk support of the operation and some security and network services. He was introduced to us 3 years ago when he had an opening in his department, and we referred one of our graduates from the DC region. He was so excited to meet that person. He was so impressed by that individual that he hired that individual immediately. He then called our office and said, I've got 3 more openings. I'm wondering if you have any more graduates. And it just so happened that that week we were having an open house, and he came to visit and hired 3 more graduates on the spot. He has since hired 3 more, and his team of 12 now consists of 7 Proscolis graduates. Wayne will tell you that he was not just impressed by the technical skills that our graduates possess, but also the professional skills that they came to the table with. Our program is designed, whether it's a 10-week, 12-week, 15-week, or 18-week curriculum, to infuse professional development and training in every single one of our courses so that when our students graduate, they are the best well-rounded employee that a company can buy. We are producing amazing talent for corporate America, diverse talent for corporate America. The program is so impactful for Design Data that they are now sending their people from Alaska to take the training in DC. We work with over 300 companies every year. Some of the companies are listed on this slide, all designing customized training so that we can create that diverse pipeline by design. Now, I'd be remiss if I ended the story there, because the truth is that the impact that we are having for our employer partners is just as significant as the impact we are having for the people that we train. So let me rewind here for a sec. Let me introduce you to Adrian. Adrian is the young man in both of those pictures to the right side of the picture. He's wearing the salmon-colored shirt. Adrian graduated high school and went on to community college, never made it past his 3rd semester. He couldn't afford to stay. He jumped from job to job, barely often making a little bit more than minimum wage. And when he lost his last job, he decided that he was going to seek some sort of training program, preferably in IT. Serendipitously, he found a flyer about Proscolis and decided to enroll. 10 weeks later, he graduated with his certificates. A couple of weeks after that, we introduced him to Wayne, and the rest is history. But what Adrian will tell you is that his life is completely different as a result of the training program. he can now see a future that he didn't see before coming to Perscolas. You see, like Adrian, I don't believe that his future was dictated by the zip code from where he came from. And I hope you don't as well. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of your session. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Plinio. And thanks, everyone, for being here with us today. We're just honored to have had such inspirational speakers share their experiences in diversity in tech. Before we go, just a reminder, join us for We Power Tech Inclusion Happy Hour. You can network with fellow attendees, celebrate inclusion in tech and diversity. It's in Hall G right now, and you're going to get a We Power Tech shirt. Enjoy the rest of reInvent.